All right, cool. We're in there. So, all right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the Lenny Poliziani show. I got a special guest today, Crystal, longtime friend. Looking forward to this episode. We go way back, and we're in the same market in Atlanta. And Chris, are you still down in Tampa at all, or is it just Atlanta at this point?
Um, no, I'm doing both markets.
Both markets. Well, I might be moving to Tampa in
Oh
August.
yeah,
Yep. So,
nice. That
yep.
market is hot.
I know. I think the hottest market right now. I think it's number one. So
I think it's number one.
it's literally number one.
Everybody's moving there. It's nuts.
I think just the whole state of Florida. But why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name's Crystal. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I actually relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, so that's where I'm at now. I'm an investor, and I am in two markets: Atlanta, Georgia, and Florida.
Awesome. And I don't even know if we ever talked about it, but how did you get into real estate?
Funny question. So, growing up, I literally had every job possible. I mean, my friends couldn't keep up with me. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. I was unemployable. I hit the 1 year mark and I was like, all right, that's it. Like, I got to get out of here. I just knew there was more. And I thought I wanted to be an agent. So I went to real estate school and I was like, this is not for me. This is too cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I'm a creative thinker. So if you put me in a box, it just turns me off. So I was like, I can't do this. Great. I'm at a dead end again. So what do? And I came across wholesaling and it was a wrap from there.
Yeah. It's funny you said that because I have my license in New Jersey and I thought it would help out like having the license. I don't know. I just wanted to get it, but even though I don't use it that much for anything but referrals, it's still like just the emails, everything I get. I'm like, this reminds me of corporate. Like,
yeah,
I got to get away.
So are you using it at all?
So we do a couple referrals. We just use it for referrals on deals. But now that I do so many novations or we pitch novations, it's not like we're not. If it's a fit for a listing, of course. But we tend to just stay in contact, keep them as follow-ups, and keep that as is kind of offer in our system. So I'm not doing as many listing referrals as I thought I would.
It's like, why would you, right? You make it 3%, or if you're a good negotiator, it's like, right, I'm going to go this route.
Exactly. So I thought I'd be using it a lot more. And most of the time when you say, hey, listen, we can do a listing referral, I have my license. They're like, hey, I have my aunt, my uncle, whatever. They're an agent and they usually have their own agent anyways. So, I'm probably not going to renew my license.
But if I remember correctly, that was before you knew about the novations, correct?
Exactly.
Right.
Or the new way to do novations. Because we knew about novations, but we put a whole little spin on it. But
right.
Exactly. Gotcha. Yeah. So how'd you find out about wholesaling? Because it used to not be as mainstream as it is now.
Yeah. So I found out about wholesaling through Max Maxwell was the first person that I started following.
Yep. Yeah. Same here as I think first time it was end of 2019. And then I personally, I was just doing some education, watching some YouTube videos. And I did it really, really part-time while I had my job. Mm-hmm. But he was the first person. My buddy's like, yeah, we got to watch this guy. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yep, exactly. That was the first person. So I was wholesaling. I got my first contract. Okay. Yeah. And it was an 80-year-old guy from Griffin, Georgia. And I was learning, right?
What year was
it? You learn on the street. So yeah. He was like, nope, the EMD comes to me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. But, we all want our first deal. So he ended up taking the money from me. And I ended up not closing that deal. And I lost $2,500 my first deal. I lost money. And then from that point forward, I was like, no, I've got to stick to the rules of what, these gurus say. So I landed another I'm going to end that one because that just went south and I just walked away from it. I had another
one. You didn't give up. It didn't scare you away.
Yeah, I didn't give up. It was a little discouraged, but I was like, hey, you know what? I know there's a lot of money out here. There's people to help, and I just knew it was the lane that I needed to go down. So then I got another property under contract. Sweet old couple. They wanted to relocate and travel in RV, and I met one of my partners now that I do creative finance with. I met him there, and he was drawn towards me. I guess my personality, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
we went into partnership, and he was like, "Well, let's do fix and flips." And I was just kind of like, "That's not really the lane that I want to go down."
Sure.
So then he was like, "Hey, let's do sub two," and I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, it's creative finance. You know, you're young, you need to build passive income. And I was just like, yeah, but I need money now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, no, there's different ways to monetize these deals. And he's like, I need you to take off the blinders. And I was like, okay, go ahead, send it over. I'll take a look at it, see what we can do. So I was dead ass broke. I'm not even going to lie. I had sold my house in Florida. I had spent it because I didn't want to go get another job. So I was basically living off that. I even short-term rental my apartment that I was renting because it was so
Wow.
big that I
Wow.
did an Airbnb downstairs illegally off the record.
Making it
And
work.
yeah, so that's when I started learning about areas and locations, right? Everything's location. And
Mm-hmm.
I took the course. He paid for it up front. I was like, I'll lock down my first deal in a week. Give me a week. And he was like, okay. And I locked down my first deal in a week because I knew that neighborhood. It was a house that was on the market for, I think it was like 9 months. And I called, and the guy goes, I said, hey, I noticed that you had your house listed, for quite some time. This was like right before the market switched
I was going
up.
to ask, what year was this?
Yeah, it was right before the market switched up on us. So it was like the end of 2020, I want to
Okay.
say 2020.
Yep.
Yeah, 2020, end of 2019. I can't remember.
Yep.
But it hadn't like turned up yet, right? So I called him and I was like, I noticed that you had it on the market for quite some time. I'd love to, do something creative. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And he was a big shot. He made money. The neighborhood was like top notch, A plus. And he was like, so you'll just take it over and, we'll do a balloon payment. He heard his number and he was like, sure, send over the contract. And we sent it over that night and he signed. And he was like, holy shit, like, what'd you just do? And I was like, we solved this problem, right? He
Were
did it
were
once.
the terms good?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
terms were great. I mean, we did a wrap on that property and I
Wow.
had a tenant buyer bring in $50,000. We were in at $0, 0% interest, assuming the current loan, but 0% on his equity. And we did a 5-year balloon.
Wow. And did you say the down payment or just the total that the buyer had to bring to the table is 50,000?
The buyer brought $50,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, was this in
So,
Atlanta?
yeah, this was in Atlanta. There's a couple
Nice.
neighborhoods that I picked just because I know them very well and I know what you can do there. That was actually my neck of the woods, so I knew it, like the back of my hand. So, and it was actually, the crazy part is that I hadn't really dove into buyers not qualifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think that because people are doctors or attorneys or, they make good money that they can go get a house. And that's not always the case. So
Yep.
all the people that were coming to us were people of, some kind of status, right? And he didn't have good credit. He made great money.
Mm-hmm.
He had a stable job, but he couldn't get approved for a house.
Wow.
So that opportunity led to more because his uncle, if I'm not mistaken, it was his uncle, was like, hey, do you have any more properties? And he was a buyer. He had a load of cash and he's just like, hey, I buy in Florida, I buy in Atlanta, like sell me some houses. So it's just like those connections are really important. And I think, there's so many times where I hear, I don't know if you want to call them teachers or gurus or whatnot, where they're like, hey, they look down on wholesaling or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just like, you have to do what is in the best interest of your seller, right? And if that means that you can turn it into a terms deal, great. Turn it into a terms deal because I can wrap the hell out of a terms deal. There's so many different ways to get creative with it. And or if they want cash, right, give them the cash.
Yep.
If you can negotiate it, it's like whatever's gonna help them. There's a way to solve the problem.
Get
And
creative, solve a
yeah,
problem.
get super creative. So yeah, he was happy. He's actually offered to be our private money lender on
I was gonna
multiple
say that sounds like a
deals.
private money lender.
Yeah. And he has friends who are willing to invest as well. He wants to do apartments. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's how I landed the first one. And then I was wholesaling, and it was really hard, right? In that
Yep.
market. It was crazy. Everybody wanted retail. And let's be honest, they're
It's still
offering
like
retail.
that. Yep.
Yeah. So when you come in wholesale, they're like, not, I could put this piece of shit on the market, right? And I'm kind of like, yeah, you could. So then I had to get creative. And that's when I went to your flip in Atlanta that you had
Yep.
going on. And I said, we were talking. It was me, you, Rodarius.
That's when you met Rod.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where I met Rod. And oh my God, like I can't even
Shout
thank
out
him
Rod.
enough. Like I've told him, but I can't thank him enough because I said, there's something with this market, and I've got to figure out how to contract wise get the ball rolling, because I was leaving so much money on the table. So that conversation literally, it changed the whole trajectory of my business, because my partner's older, right? He's in his 60s. So he's kind of like, you can't do that. And I'm like, the hell I can't. I get an attorney. He can make my contracts, pay him, some money, take care of him. Because at the end of the day, you got to hire professional people to take care of us. Don't do it yourself, right? Spend the money, and
get the experts to do their job.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I did. That conversation, I called my attorney. I was like, I need these done. And she was just like, oh, I've heard of that. Nobody's ever done it in my office, but yeah, I've heard of it. I've done one before. And I said, okay, well, this is what I'm trying to do. And she was like, yeah, you can do that. And I was like, bingo, it's a wrap. I actually, with the market, didn't really have to use the novations, because there's so many cash buyers that I just leveraged cash buyers as opposed to finance.
Yep.
Because time is also money, right?
Exactly.
So if you sit on the market, and depending on if it's FHA or whatever, you have to season it. I'm like, all right, well, if I can get rid of it in 30, great. So I don't know if you guys know this. I'm going to give you guys a little gem. So I'm pretty sure that you've heard that some of these hedge funds are going to be holding properties, or making you hold properties for 60 days. Have you heard that?
Yep. And they're a lot slower.
Yeah, they are a lot slower, but they will let you do a novation.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm working on 2 right now. As long as you have, that power of attorney document tied to it, you're good to go.
Now,
that's
are you doing novations in the form of, because we use the term novation because technically in the beginning we're replacing that contract still, but we never ever submit that contract to anybody unless the title company requires it. They just want to see that there's an underlying agreement. Where me and Rod came up with it, we're basically a statement in the special stipulation section of that new contract that maybe the hedge fund brings to the table, in the form of just a payoff. So I don't know how you guys are setting it up, but I haven't worked with a hedge fund trying.
Well, the thing is this, right? So I linked up with someone who was referred to me by a friend in the business. He was like, hey, I think this is the perfect person. I'm a visionary. I am not an integrator. Do not put me behind systems. Obviously, we were late for this live. I didn't even charge my computer. I'm horrible. It's that bad.
That's why we're 30 minutes late. It was her fault. All right.
It was my fault. And we clicked right off the bat. I was like, this is my person. Like, this is the person that I've literally prayed for. Where have you been? Right. Yeah. And I actually brought him back into real estate because he started, tapping into other lanes of passive income and making money, business ventures. And he was like, I'm on board with you. And
oh no, the internet lagging. Oh no, Crystal's got the technical difficulties. Hold on.
Hey,
All right. We're good. We're good. Hold on.
sorry, I don't know what happened.
No, I don't think you're frozen in the middle screen, but I think we kept it. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, sorry,
Hold on.
my computer
No,
died getting serviced,
you're
and
good.
so anyhow, he was like,
All right, we're back. Yep.
"Can you hear
Can you
me?"
hear me? I can hear you. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
So then he goes, "Whatever you need me to do, like let's just do it, and
Yep.
just lead the way." So I'm so thankful for him because he literally was just like, "Hey, lead the ship," right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can't explain it, right? Like I can't explain the math that I was doing with the deals, and I continue to do with the deals. So I would negotiate, and instead of wholesaling, we'd wholesale them. I have a private money lender. I can borrow like up to 20 million, and she was just like, "Here, the money's here. Like, do what you want." And I was like, "Bingo!" So I was just buying them, slapping them on the market, and he was pushing paper just like left and right, handling that. I mean, we've had some pretty crazy deals. They haven't all been a walk in the park, right? Like,
Hmm.
let's be honest. I've had tenants in place where I've had to pay them to leave, help them relocate because there's no rentals in the rental market. It's gone up so much that these people were underpaying. Um, but yeah, so he was a blessing in the skies because anything that I need done, like contract wise,
Hmm.
he's like my go-to. Um, so yeah, I mean, and it was just a wrap from there because
Yep.
I look back at that conversation at your flip, and I probably lost between $500,000 to $600,000, and I was like, hell no, not anymore. Like it stops here.
That's crazy. I had no idea that day
That
changed
day,
your
yeah,
direct. Yeah.
it was crazy. I was driving home, and I think I was just full blown anxiety. I was like, what the hell, like you really got to think outside the box. It's not always a purchase and
No.
sales agreement. It's not always just going to be a wholesale. It's not always going to be the 70%, 75% minus your repairs.
Nope.
Like, not in this market. Like, you're nuts.
No.
And with all these, big companies coming in and taking a lot of the inventory, I mean, it is what it is, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I've offloaded some to home buyers, because I do want to make sure that people have houses to live in. But I've just been building capital. It's been the goal for right now. And then it's funny because I'm like, well, my goal is to have passive income, but I don't want to be like a single family home landlord. That's not my goal. I have a desire. Creative financing is great, but I'm like, if I can build my capital and either build or do bigger projects, that's kind of like where I'm leaning towards right now. Because at this point, I stopped all my marketing. Like I'm not marketing anymore. I'm strictly
Zero
referral.
marketing dollars.
Yeah, strictly referral.
Wow.
Zero on marketing right now.
And where are your referrals coming from?
Wholesalers.
Wow.
Yeah,
I see
wholesale.
you all active on Facebook and everything in the Atlanta groups, dropping the emails.
Yep.
Yep.
I literally have wholesalers just looking for deals for me. I give them all my criteria where I'm looking.
Hmm.
And the thing is this, right? So a lot of wholesalers, they're under the impression that you just have to private money is key, right? Private money to buy it. That's
Yep.
key because you could be doing the same thing. It's
Yep.
no different, right? So I never looked at myself as a wholesaler. I looked at myself as an investor. And it's all mindset. It's the way that you look at yourself and if you believe in yourself enough. And even like my private money lender, she's just like, I don't know what you're doing, but this is crazy. And I'm like, she's like, I have people struggling right now. It's like, you have to think outside the box, right? You can't think cookie cutter because if not, you're going to cut yourself short every single time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, once I learned that, it was literally a wrap from that point forward.
I think people, don't understand that real estate, there's no black and white. Like it's what's in
Hell no.
terms
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you can
but
do
that's the
anything.
thing, though, right? So many people they look at real estate and they look at landlords, they look at
Yep.
wholesaling, know that lane, right? And they know agents. Outside of that, they're like, oh, you become an agent or you become a broker, you own some properties, and it's like there's so much more to it. Like so much more to it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the possibilities in real estate are endless. It
And like,
just depends
yeah.
on what is in alignment with your goals, you know
Exactly. And you're definitely a visionary. I mean, like you said, even the small stuff to get a deal done, paying, during the escrow period, paying the mortgage or giving them a little bit extra, even though you don't want to, earnest money to protect them with their tenants, or
Right.
whatever you have to do, look at the big picture to get the deal done. I
Right.
think a lot of people try, sticking to putting as little as possible, $100 if the seller wants more earnest money, it's all risk tolerance too,
Right. Right. Right.
but
Yeah, I run my numbers. I'm starting to become a lot more hands off. I'm sending people out there now to look at the properties. I do have a little bit of a control issue because I see it with my eyes and I know, but you got to train people, right? You got to train people. I'm trying to spend more time. For me, wealth is having freedom of my time. You can make all the money you want, but if you're not
mhm.
spending your time with your family, I have two daughters. I mean, their father passed away a couple years ago, so it's just me. I moved to Atlanta. I have no family here. I have no friends here in Atlanta. Everyone I associate myself, it's all business.
I'm your
Um,
friend, but I'm not
help,
even in Atlanta.
huh?
I said I'm your friend, right?
but like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I
It was
know.
just I had to literally shift everything. Like I pivot. Like you can just pivot. And I was just like I had a mental shift and I was like there's no more hanging out. There's no more having pointless conversations with people. If it's not, opening your eyes to bigger and better things and just promoting yourself all in every area, then it's
Sure.
got to go. And I realized I was like, it was like having a funeral,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was really lonely, dark place for a little.
Oh no, again. Crystal, your Wi-Fi is killing us. Hold up, guys. Just chill tight. Your Wi-Fi is trash. Your Wi-Fi is trash.
My bad. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna
I
walk
just
and talk.
I just made fun of you on Instagram Live. I
Hold on,
had
hold
to.
on. That's not a good idea.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope.
But no, I changed everything. I secluded myself.
Yeah.
All I did was learn, like learn. What are you doing? Watching YouTube videos. You want to go hang out? Watching YouTube videos. It just never.
How about how you met me? We're in Pace Morby's sub 2 group, creative
Yes.
finance, all of that. And one thing that sticks out, one, your creativity, always. You're not afraid to do something outside the box. I think that should be your middle name. But your networking capabilities. I mean, everything that you've said so far, I mean, it just came through networking. You reached out to me, we connected. But I
Yeah.
think that's your strength. I mean, you are, every time I talk to you, you're networking. You're talking to people.
Yeah. Just think about it though. Like so many times we will. It's all who you know. Like it's all who you know. I wouldn't be able to do
No.
half the stuff I do without the connections that I've made in real estate.
Mhm.
I didn't know half these people before. It's just going
Yeah.
out there making the connections.
Yep. Yep. 100%. Where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm in the office.
I thought that, yeah, I was like, damn.
It's not my house yet. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that your house? You didn't tell me you bought a new house.
No, I'm in the office. I can't sit down. I'm a busybody. I'm always moving and shaking. That's why it
That,
was so hard for me to like delegate these small tasks.
uh-huh.
I like talking to sellers. I like meeting with them. I like talking to tenants and building rapport. Like I like doing all that stuff. But I realized that my highest and best use place is not doing those things, right? It's going to conferences, it's networking, it's doing all the stuff that a lot of people, believe it or not, they don't like to do, but it's my strength. So
And
I
let's
was
let's
like,
touch
no,
on
moving
that.
forward in 2022, I need to get my ass in these rooms. I
Yeah.
need to talk to people as uncomfortable as it is and just meet some people. I was on a call the other day and the guy that was in there was in the apartment building space. And he was just like, hey, like, let's do it. And we were connected. And I was like, this is where I'm trying to go down.
I love
And
it.
it's funny because these conversations, they open doors and opportunities. Right. And he's like, well, creative finance. And I was like, yeah, I don't like to use my own money. Like, I use other people's money, and or
OPM.
I'm going to somehow manage to make it happen in the deal. So it's awesome having started at the bottom, right?
Yep.
Having started from wholesaling, where you can make your fee and or your entry cost and be in at nothing. Um, and so that's actually the route that I'm tapping into, is multifamily. I'm going to focus on apartments, and I'll let you know when I have my
I
first
see it.
50 unit at $0.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't doubt it. I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing I wanted to go back on a little bit is you talked about like a self funeral or just a big change, but I think you don't have fear. Even the small things, and we talked before we even got on live, is we said we're both introverts, and
Yep.
it's not like we enjoy doing this, but
Hell no.
no,
It is so uncomfortable for me to do this stuff. I'm not,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not a talker. Like, in person, yeah, I'll
And,
talk all day long.
and
We've stayed on the
and I
phone for
just said you're the
hours.
net, you're the queen networker. I mean, like, and you just said you don't enjoy, but you have to.
I have to do it. It's
Hmm.
must. Like, you can't, you got to get over those fears,
Yeah.
right? I'm not exactly sure where it stemmed from. Um, because I'm a social butterfly in person. I just, I don't know. I did the whole thing with like the whole recording, right? I talk out of my ass sometimes. So I don't want you on that, to have that on the
No.
record. Maybe that's perfect. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, in this business, if you move fearlessly and you're like, you know what? Because at the end of the day, you're going to fuck up, right? You're bound to fuck up. It's going to
Hmm.
happen. There's no way around it. Nobody is going to get to success without some kind of failures. I've lost money. Thankfully, not lots. I mean, actually, I have. Right before I knew the contracts, I
Sure.
lost over $500,000 when I went back and retraced my steps. That was a huge learning curve for me. Right. So I was like, never again. I even I even stopped working with my partner, and I tried to bring him on. I said, hey, do you want to go do this? And he was like, you think you can sell anything? I said, I can sell anything. Do you want on or not? And he was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm busy right now. I'm building. And I said, all right, that's all I need to know. And I jumped ship. And then he got wind of what I was doing, because me and him just do creative finance. And he was like, I'll pay for marketing. I'll do all the marketing. I'll pay for it. You don't have to pay for anything. I said, I'm fucking busy. Like, I
Yeah.
can't take on anymore. I'm trying to teach someone else what I'm doing. And I don't really have like some, I don't have a method, right?
You kind of do your thing.
Does
Yeah.
that
Like,
make sense?
yeah, for
So I was
sure.
like, right now, I'm just like, hey, these are the numbers, do this, that, send it out. And they're like, okay. So I was like, I don't have anywhere to put you. And it kind of like brought me down a little bit, because I like bringing people on board with me, but you got to go do the fucking work. Right.
Exactly.
And I realized that not everybody is going to stay in your circle forever.
Yep.
So you might have to sever relationships, but people will hold you back. People will hold you back in business. It'll be your family. My family told me I was crazy, that I was being a bad mom for relocating back to Georgia. You're moving again. And I was like, yeah, I gotta move to Georgia. And
Yeah.
they're like, okay, well, do whatever you think is best. Now they're like, can I work for you? And I was like, no,
Hmm.
I don't even want you to think like that. I don't want you to think like an employee. I want you to start your
Sure.
own business and do whatever you want to do. Real estate's great. I feel like you would definitely be good in it, but I don't want you to be my employee. If anything, you could be my partner, but I want you to believe in yourself enough to know that you can do the same thing that I'm doing.
100%. And I see a mindset shift, in you, growth, but I mean, this doesn't happen overnight. When would you say, or how long did it take for you to kind of get in this mode where you're kind of on constant growth, I guess, fearless in a way?
Um, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I am not afraid to lose it all.
Hmm.
I'm not.
You let go.
And the reason why I say that is, once you have that code of like how to get where you're at, you'll lose it 100 times. It doesn't matter. You're going to pick yourself back up every time and say, all right, let's do it again. Right. And that's kind of like where I'm at mentally. So I'm totally prepared, if I lost everything tomorrow, I know how to make it back. It doesn't matter, right? It's not like I got lucky and I was like, made $1 million. No, it doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
There's a system to what I've been doing. So it doesn't matter. Any successful person, they have lost more times than they can count. But it just took that one time, right? That one time
Believe.
where they hit it and they're like, that's it. It's game over from here.
Yep.
That's all that matters. But I do feel like your circle of influence is everything. Like I said, I cut off a lot of people
Hmm.
that I love and adore. I just realized I had to love them from a distance. And people will remember you for who you were in the past, right? I
Sure.
didn't always have the greatest choice of boyfriends. And I think they still looked at me as, I don't know, kind of like vulnerable Chris.
Okay.
I've always been a salesperson. I could literally sell anything. I have stories behind that. That's for another day. But yeah, your circle, and never stop learning. It doesn't matter how much money you make. For me, it's not about the money, right? Like recently I did a post. It's not, it's not about the money. It's the freedom that comes with it,
Yep.
right? For me, it's breaking generational curses in my family. Like my mom's side of the family, they came from the hood, right? That's just what it was. It was like Crystal from the block, Martha from the
I'll
block. My dad's side of the family, when they moved to the States, they were wealthy. My dad's side of the family was very wealthy. They had money, and they were very hard workers. So it was like night and day.
Sure.
And I caught myself at one point when I ended up getting diagnosed with an illness a couple years ago, an autoimmune disease.
Wow.
And it kind of brought me down because I was dealing with the loss of my children's father. I was dealing with this autoimmune that I got diagnosed with, and I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm ever going to go back to a regular job. Like, I need to figure this shit out. Like,
Would
I
you say
need to get
that's
out
like
of
the
my
turning
comfort
point?
zone,
Yeah.
aka Clearwater, Florida. And
Yeah.
I just need to get away from everything that's familiar and just do it.
So that was like kind of, could you say that was like kind of the turning point mentally where you're like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
I
for
got to
sure.
make a change?
Yeah, for sure, all day long, because I had to quit the job that I had.
Wow.
I was going through a whole bunch of shit with the medical stuff, and I was
Wow.
like, "What am I going to do? How am I going to raise my
Yeah.
kids? How am I going to take care of two kids all by myself?" Um, I've always been like pretty independent. I don't like counting on other people, and I said, "How am I going to do it?" So at first, when I was dealing with all that, I was like flipping high end furniture. I was making like a couple $1,000s a week. I would sell cars. I'd buy cars and sell cars. Um, Pretty much anything. And then I was like, this is kind of hard work, right? I know there's got to be more. So, anyways, when I came to Georgia, I figured all that out. But Georgia was a blessing in itself because people over here, like, they will help put you on, right? I've been to places like even Florida was one of those places for me where I tried to connect and they're like, oh, like we've never done business together. And it's like, well, no, fuck. Nope. We
Yeah.
haven't done business together. How do you expect to do business together? You got to do it
You got
once,
to
right?
start.
And so when that happened, I was like, I'm going back to Georgia. And that's when, my family called me crazy. And I said, over there, it's just a different breed of people. They want to see you succeed. They breathe, eat entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
right? It's like the way of living out here. So I was like, no, I'm going out there. And I made connections, and I had friends who like plugged me in right away. They're like, I actually had a friend at the time, I had gotten offered a job and it was like $80,000. And I was like, I need to take this. He's
Yeah.
like, go read this book. And I was like, okay. And it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read both. And I read that book. It didn't register.
No.
I'm hyped. So I read it. I think it was the third time I listened to the Audible and it clicked. And I was like, oh my God, money, I can make money work for me,
Hmm.
you know? And once I took that away from that book, it was a wrap. I was like, all right, let me find private money. Once I found the private money, she was like, how much do you need? And she just kept giving it to me. And I was just like, she's like, do you need more? She's offering it to me. She was just like,
Sure.
these numbers are crazy that you have. And she's like, take advantage. And the crazy part was, is she's like, she just kept telling me, she's like, you're special. There's something about you. She's like, I really want to help you. Like you're a single
Yeah.
mom. You've been an open book with me, and I really want to help you out. And that lady's just been a blessing in my life. I can't thank her enough.
Yeah. And some people might say, well, that, you make it sound easy. Not everybody can go
No,
find a private money lender, but I mean, it was pretty simple, wasn't it? I mean, the concept of finding her or taking action to put that in place.
oh yeah. I mean, she's been a huge part of like my success right now with everything that I've been doing with the market, right? You have to adjust with the market. They're not always going to be, it's not always going to be like this,
No.
right? So I said, well, if I can get these properties at discounted prices and buy them and either do work or not do work, that's my business, right? As an investor, a lot of investors don't say that. I'm an open book.
I love the
Whether I
transfer.
put
That's how
money
I
into
am.
it or not, it's none of your business. You're making money. I don't care how much money you make. I want you to make money. I
Yep.
want you to negotiate so good that you make a hell of a lot of money. I don't care. I'm not
In
counting
fact,
your
you know what?
bag.
If you do a good job, sellers say that to you too.
Yeah, I'm not
They want
counting
you
your
to-
bag.
Yeah.
So, and they love that. They're like, all right, I'm going to go look for a house. I'm like, as long as the numbers make sense, I don't care what you make on it.
Yep.
It's none of my business.
Now, why would, for anybody out there looking to get into real estate or doesn't have money or thinks you need money, and then this is blowing their mind, why would somebody be a private money lender and not just go do it themselves?
It's a lot of work, right? If you want to make a return, there's so many. America has been taught, well, just us in general, we've been
Sure.
taught to save money, right? Save money, put your money in the bank. You need
My
a
dad tells me it every
401k,
day.
like all this shit that's a lie, right?
Yep.
It's like, no, go make your money work for you because your money is making the bank money while it's sitting in the bank
And
account.
they
You're
keep printing
losing
more.
money. Inflation is at an all-time high. You are losing money every dollar you have in that bank. It's not a dollar anymore.
Nope.
So when I tell people, well, I can make you money on your money, and they're like, well, how? You don't have to do anything. You can stay at your 9 to 5. You can stay at your small business. You can still be your stay-at-home mom. You can, whatever you do, you can still do that without even lifting a finger.
Yep.
Right?
Let
All
us
you
go
have
do
to
the
do is
work.
trust me enough to say that I'm going to get you X amount money back on return on your money. But no, for anybody that's looking to make money and you don't know what to do in real estate and you have money sitting in a bank account, whether, it's money that you've saved, inherited, whatever, hell, people are sitting on so much equity in their properties. Go refinance that sucker out and pull the equity out and flip that money. Listen, I will be so, I dated someone who taught me how to flip money. Let's just say that. And once I learned that, I was like, you don't have to be on the street, right?
Yep.
You can do this totally legal. You can do this the right way. And then the best part is you don't have to do anything, right? You can find someone like Crystal or Lenny or someone that's in real estate and say,
Hit me
here's
up.
my money. Like, what can we negotiate, right?
Yep.
Here, take my money. Oh, well, you want to cash out refi? You don't know what to do with your money. You have $300,000 in equity. Let me make you some money, right?
And guess what? It's going
I'm
to be a
thinking
better
about it.
return.
And if the market's going to crash right now, one thing that I've really been tapping into and teaching people every time I talk to them is like, utilize financing. We've been taught that debt is bad. Debt is bad. Pay it all off, right? Pay us all. No. Leverage debt as much as possible.
The wealthy
You can
know how
make
to-
money on
Yep.
finance. I make so much money leveraging financing.
Leveraging debt.
It's stupid.
Leverage debt.
Yeah,
what the
leverage
wealthy
debt.
do.
Your money should be invested somewhere. Like
Yep.
all my money, I'm heavily invested in the crypto market right now. I've never, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I've never paid $1 for a property. Like not $1 of my own money.
That's
Never.
better than me.
I have a property right now. I'm going to upload a video here this week. I was in the cabins with my family, but I had to run back to Atlanta. See, this is the stuff we don't talk about, right?
I didn't know
was
if you were going to
running
make
back
it
to
tonight.
Atlanta. I had to do a showing. Then I went back to the cabin the next day. I had to go to this property. We broke ground. We were hammering walls. I got that property for $0 out of my pocket. It's going to be a luxury short-term rental for celebrities, for A-listers. So that's going to be really cool to show you guys that. That's coming in the works. And I paid $0 for it.
Now, does that have anything to do with the movie industry and everything going on in Atlanta? It's
yeah.
Okay.
We got quoted on that house to make $50,000 passive income.
Ooh.
Now, mind you, we were going to have expenses, right? In a mortgage. So let's say we cleared 40, right?
Yeah.
That's just being generous. 40. We actually created a business with that house. So I'm 25% owner. My partner's 25% owner. And I was totally hands off from the get-go. I was like, this is what we need to do. You take care of everything else. And I was gone. Right. I build rapport with the seller who is part owner of that company now. And she's ecstatic. She gets calls every single day. Anybody knows me, if you're talking to me in the morning, you know, I'm drinking my coffee and I'm probably looking at one of my top neighborhoods that I love. And that's what happened. She was even telling me, she's like, how did you get Daniel's number? And I said, I hit up my girlfriend. She gave me the number. She used one of those fancy government ones because I couldn't locate you. I called and it was a wrap from there. I told you that I don't come in here and rehab other people's houses, but if you guys wanted to do something creative, I'm your girl. And you called me right back. And that house, I mean, it's going to be dope. I can't wait to show you guys that house. It's going to be really dope.
That's awesome. Well, while we're talking about big deals like that, I didn't even ask you. Tell me about that. What was it? $200,000? Was it a wholesale or crazy?
Okay, so yeah, it was
on one deal.
On
That's
one deal.
crazy.
So I moved to Atlanta in 2019, and I lived in a condo right behind this house. And for the longest time, it just sat there. I'd see sticky notes on the door, and I was like, should I call? Do I reach out? Do I not? I skipped trace, couldn't get a hold of anyone. Finally, I got a call back one day, and it was a crazy old lady. And she wanted like some crazy number for the house. The house ended up getting burnt down. There were vagrants that moved in. They burnt the house down. There's a story behind that house. So what happened was they burnt the house down. There was no insurance. Her brother passed away while it was in the middle of probate. And the sister, or no, his wife ended up selling off half the equity to the attorney that lived behind the house.
Oh my God.
Because he was tired of seeing it like that. He's like, well, I'm going to buy into this property and get this, old lady to sell this house. They didn't have a good relationship. So I had my eyes on the house next door. Remember the first creative deal finance?
Yep.
That guy said, hey, call him up. We've built a really good rapport with them. I said, hey, do you mind doing me a favor? And he's like, sure. He's like, I was like, hey, can you get the next door neighbor's telephone number? I want to buy the house next door. So he's like, sure, no problem. Me and him chat all the time. And I was like, okay, great. So he gets the contact number. We reach out to him. He's an attorney. He's a stickler. I mean, he's a stickler, knows all his shit. He wants his attorney to look over everything. He knows the ins and outs of everything. He was like, well, I'm getting offered more money, but this lady's a headache. If you guys can deal with her, I'll sign with you. It's not about the money, because nobody can get this lady to sign. And I'm like, great.
Is this when you change your name on Instagram, the Crystal to Closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
this is where it came from.
Huh?
This is where the name came from, I guess.
This is where the name came from.
Okay.
I had people messing with me. They're like, you can close any deal. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really I got to make a name for myself. So I was like, let me just put Crystal the Closer. I can close anything, right? And so I was talking to this lady for about 10 months. I talked to her while I was on vacation in Mexico. I talked to her while I was on vacation in New York. I talked to her while I was on vacation in California. I talked to her.
And how long would you say from start to finish did this go on?
For that deal?
For that deal, yeah.
Building a rapport with her for about 9-10 months.
There it is. People don't realize that.
They got offered, listen to this. They got offered over $200,000 over what I offered.
Wow.
Nobody could get her to sign. When I mean she was a pain, she was really hard to deal with. At the very, very end, I actually was like, hey, you got to come in as the good guy, make me out to be the bad guy at this point, because I'm tired.
And why
so my
wasn't
partner
he
came in, and he was like, he had to go into her house and pull out dishes and a bunch of stuff that she wanted to salvage that had memories tied to it. She was never raised there, but it was her grandparents' house.
Emotional
so this is where we say it's not always pretty, right?
Yep.
But then what happened was I had to get a notary to sign it, because I didn't know if she was gonna switch up on us just for protection. So I got a notary in San Antonio, Texas to go out there. I found a super cute lady. She was sweet. She had patience of an angel because that lady is not easy to deal with. She got the door slammed on her face a couple times. Like,
Wow.
it was a shit show.
You didn't give up though.
No, we didn't give up. Hell no, I
No.
wasn't giving up. And you know, I told my partner, I said, just get the stuff out. Who cares if it's garbage to you? It's not garbage to her, right?
Sure.
Your opinion doesn't matter if it's garbage or not. Just get it out, let her pay for her storage, and let's call it a day.
Yep.
And I actually, it would have been over $200,000, but I had to bring in my private money lender to close the deal. And you know, I paid some interest for like a week because when it was closing day, her house got flooded.
Oh my
And
God.
she couldn't sign that day. It was crazy. And so we had to close. I had to push it out and close like a week later. So we ended up buying it. We owned it for like a week, and then we sold it.
And what little background on the house itself? I mean, what size house was this? Was it a small house? What made
So
it?
this is where due diligence is important,
Sure.
right? So my partner was like, what do you think you can sell it for? Like, how much do you think we can get? And
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, the comps are not that great. Let me do some homework. And when I dig in, I dig in. So I was like, oh man, the house next door was on sale for like, I think it was like 800 or something like
That's
that.
expensive in Atlanta.
Yeah. And you have to rebuild this house. It was a 2,500 square foot house. You
Was
had
it in
to
the
rebuild.
historical section?
A
Or
what?
wasn't it in the historical section or something?
It was the last house in the historical line
Boom.
from the block behind it.
Gotcha.
So that's how we ended up getting the price that we got, because the comp supported the historical.
Yep.
Yep. That's how we got it.
And what
And I had sold a house previously that I was wholesaling. Actually, I created an LLC with a seller, and I ended up selling it to a developer, and we made, I don't know, like $50,000 on that house. And that developer, we had built a rapport with him. So when my partner told me, I said, this is the price, call him now. We had it locked up. As soon as we got it under contract, we had a contract on the back within like 30 minutes.
Yep.
It was sold already.
Wow.
He was like, yeah, I want more. I was like, great. Yeah. Give me a minute.
That sounds like the first deal I did. You know, I had to buy it for a little bit, but we had a developer. We knew the numbers they were going to come in
Yep.
at. And
they're looking, you know, like,
oh my God,
that's their bread and butter.
Yep.
They want those houses. For me, my partner was like, do you want to build it? And I was like, no, the way that I'm not fearful, right? Like
Sure.
I said, you lose it all, whatever, you get it right back. But for me, the time to build it just wasn't worth it to me.
Sure.
Just take the 200. I can invest that. I've already seen a nice return on my money that I made. So
come on. Yeah. So what did the break down the numbers? So what did you think the comps were? What did they come in at? Where did you lock her up at or buy it at? And then what did you flip it to get that 200?
I'm sorry, repeat yourself.
I said, what did the numbers look like? Like, what did you purchase it at? And then what did you, obviously you made around 200,000 on it. So what did you sell it to the developer? And then what were the ARVs that you ended up going off of?
Okay, so I bought it for 300,000.
Okay.
I sold it for 515,000. I protected the agent's commission.
Wow.
He's a builder, but he's also an agent, so we protected his commission. I told him we want a net 200.
Wow.
I don't care what your commission is on top of that, but we're gonna net 200. And he was like, sure.
Wow.
He even ended up paying our interest. He sent us a check off the record separately to pay for the interest that we accrued during the week that we held the property.
Wow. See, that's
so when you build rapport, they respect you, right?
Oh my gosh.
So he was like, hey, you know what? It wasn't fair to you guys that you guys had to buy it. Let me know how much it was and I'll send you a check. And he did. He sent us a check. He kept his word.
Wow. And then what is this developer that ended up buying it off of you? What's his plans with the property?
Oh man, I have he sent us his plans. He's gonna build, it's like a $1.9 million house.
Whew.
Yeah. It's in one of the top neighborhoods here in Atlanta.
Yep.
A+ schools in town.
Yep. And due diligence. I mean, every time we do stuff together, I mean, you go in, you look up everything that you need to know. You have to.
You have to. I had somebody recently who sent me over a house, and I was digging into it, and I was like, man, the comps aren't here. I was like, I got to keep digging, right? I know
Yeah.
something's here. I like this neighborhood. And I found out that the density called for multifamily.
Like, who does that?
And
I'll admit, I probably wouldn't have done that.
and I was like, and I'm honest, like
Sure.
even think of Mary's deal, right?
Yep.
I could have been like, hey, let's wholesale it or whatever. I could have bought it. I'm
Yeah.
not like that. But I've noticed that when you do a lot of those partnerships, and I'll tell you this, is a lot of people start counting your pockets, right? I don't like that,
No.
right? And I think that's why a lot of people who are investors, they don't sit here and give you the game the same way, because you had a deal that was $0 and now you're complaining that I give you $25,000. Like
Yep.
the audacity, right? So I've been very picky who I do my JVs with. Like I said, I am referral based at this point, and I only work with a couple people
And do you even have any employees, any VAs? I mean, what does your
right
business
now.
look like? Nothing.
No, I have
You're
one. I have one partner.
one partner. You're just a creator. I
Huh?
know. Yeah, I said you're just the creator. Everything you're
Yeah,
just making stuff
I'm excited
happen.
for what's to come though, because I know if you can do this with single family,
Yeah.
I
I
know that you can dominate other
I see you in the
businesses.
commercial development and space.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
you're just
I actually
outside the
met
box.
I
Yeah.
met a gentleman who focused just on land, and I mean he's doing like $1 million deals off land, right? I hate going into houses sometimes. The due diligence, it can be a little sketch. Moving. I didn't have my license here to carry, so I can get a little.
Yep.
I've walked into houses where they're like, it's in great shape, and the floor is literally caved in.
You
And
can
I'm
see
like, I can't
through it.
believe you sent
Yep.
me here. Just tear this bitch down. Why did you waste my time? Right? So it's just stuff like that. So I was drawn to other avenues in real estate. I was like, I don't want to keep doing this. So
Yep.
for me, I know that I want more, and I know that it's possible. But like I said, you have to be very intentional with your goal setting. If you want to be a landlord, do it. If you want a wholesale company, just do it. Do whatever is in alignment with your goals,
Yep.
right? We're not all going to have the same goals.
Yep, and it starts from within. I think the biggest shift with me and my mindset, outside of success was that I thought or the external success would change me, but it comes from within. And until you can change that mindset,
Oh, all day long. Yeah. It's everything.
matter.
I'll be so honest with you. I've been so frugal other than like investing in myself for education and stuff like that.
Sure.
I've been so frugal and I've just been investing everything. I don't need like flashy things. Like I'm not a flashy girl. I have the money. Yeah. But I don't need it. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just setting my children up, and I teach them every single day. And I'm like, do you know how much that cost? I don't want to raise bratty kids.
No.
I'm like, you don't ever want a job. Like, this is what they make. And so it's opened up their eyes. And I think that's like one of the proudest things for me, is because my parents, they taught you that you had to work hard, right?
Yep.
You work hard, you save your money, you go to school, and they were broke. I mean, I had everything that I needed, but they were broke. They lived paycheck to paycheck. And I'm the black sheep of my family. Anybody will tell you I'm the black sheep of my family. And I was like, no, there's more out here. I'm gonna find it, and moving to Atlanta just did that. I made a promise that I was gonna surround myself with those people. A couple people managed to come into my life, and I'm forever grateful for them. And I'll keep them forever in my circle as long as they're loyal and they're good people. People switch up. You got to be careful. But a lot of people say, you got to keep the same friends, and a lot of those friends were like trauma based,
Sure.
right? They were built off of how I was raised and my thought process, all this shit. I had so many people think like, who the fuck does she think she is now? And it's like, one of the biggest takeaways for me recently was I was listening to like some podcasts, and I was on my way to Tennessee, and I was going to my aunt's house, and she goes, "Oh, you're doing so good. I'm so proud of you." Da, 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 da. And I was like, "Yeah, you guys can do the same thing." And I was just explaining it to them because I'm always talking about real estate or business. It never stops, and I just want other people to know that you have the same gifts. I am
Yep.
no different from you, right? You're no different from me. We're not better than one another. You can do the exact same thing, right? It's not about being the smartest person. It's about taking action. It's about believing in yourself, and just go do it.
Yep.
And I said, and not to like be super religious or anything like that, but I was like, if I'm a child of God, like why the hell would I be broke? Seriously, why? If I'm a child of God and you're telling me that I'm royalty, why would I be broke? Can you
Yep.
please explain that to me? And she looked at me and I was like, yeah. So I was raised thinking that money was bad, right? Money is the root of all evil and this, that, and the other. And so I lacked so much mindset wise around money. I thought money, believe it or not, was bad, right?
Sure. I think most people do.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I'm like, no, for me, it was having money to break, certain things in my family that I didn't want to live and pass that down to my kids. And I'm a giver. Like, I don't talk about it or broadcast it, but I'm a giver. Like, if anybody that I know needs something and they tell me, like, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you some words of advice,
Yeah.
encouragement. I'm not going to enable you, but I'll help you out. And then I'm going to say, go do the work. Right. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're all equal. And if you want to get in real estate or you have money to invest in real estate, like just do it. Don't even hesitate. Don't think about it. If you don't have the time to learn about it, let somebody use your money and just make money instead of letting it sit
100%.
there.
And if somebody wants to be fearless, have that creativity that you have, I mean, you put in a lot of work, I feel like, with your foundation, to get to this mindset point. It took a lot, whether it was specific experiences, but you put in the work, to get your mindset to this level. Somebody from the outside looking in that might have some fear-based thoughts or anything like that, what would you recommend? Maybe a podcast or
Man, I
book?
can't tell you how many people I've talked to. Um, and I'll keep it 1000 with you because I always do, but I've had conversations with people and 2 mentorships, plenty of people in my mentorships, and I don't sugarcoat anything. So
Sure.
I'm like, you guys are selling these deals for how much? I would have paid you quadruple, 5, 6x that. I don't care how much money you make because I know what I was going to make on it. And I encourage people. I'm like, believe in yourself. You guys are just giving this shit away. Even
Mhm.
the people that I'm like, did you run your numbers? No investor's going to do that. I'd be a fool. Did
Mhm.
you run your numbers? And if it doesn't make sense for me, or if I can make it work another way and everybody can eat, I'll do it. Right. For me, I think one of my biggest, um, my I'm always hyping somebody up, and I don't get the same, and I get the same return in this market. I work with a lot of men. That's just what it is. 99% of the people that I work with are men, and we're always hyping each other up. You know that.
Yep.
So I am the hype girl for everyone. For me, I'm always encouraging someone to believe in themselves because I was that person that didn't have anybody encouraging me, right? My circle was like, you know, what job are you working at now? Or you have another job? Are you going back to school? And I was like, shit, I'm a loser. I dropped out 10 times. I owe student loans. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to go back to school. My family's saying that I'm pretty much a failure because I can't finish college, like all this shit. And I really did. I felt like a loser for quite a bit. And I was like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me? Right. And I realized that I just wasn't a cookie cutter, go to college type of person. So when I
Yep.
found my lane and I'm pivoting as I grow, right? As Crystal, I'm learning that there's other opportunities and lanes that I want to tap into. And, you know, that's going to happen. That's part of growth. It's not going to be comfortable. I just talked to someone recently. I hyped him the hell up. He quit his job like a week later. Even called me up recently. It was like, hey, do you want to take over this business sub too? And it was his family's. And it was just crazy. And I was like, I'm so proud of you for taking that leap. Like, you
Sure.
have no idea. He's so talented. I mean, he's so talented. He's so creative. And I was like, dude, you're going to go kill it. Like,
Yep.
you're going to go kill it. And he was like, that conversation, it changed my mind. I needed to quit my job. And I was
Yep.
like, I'm so proud of you. So, I am always talking to people. It's a lot of men, believe it or not, but I didn't have that, right? Like, I didn't have that when I was learning. I had someone who was always trying to stop me. And I was like, no, like, lace up and go do the work, right?
Yep.
take time to learn. If you have to find a mentor, find a mentor. If you have to earn as you learn in this field, just go do it. It's a funny thing because I reached out to two people here in Atlanta when I first moved here, and I was like, little schoolgirl, right? Hey, whatever you need, like I'll do it. Like I'm all in. And they were like, go kill it. Like real estate's great. And I was like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? That's what I got.
That's
And
all.
then a year later, I kid you not, 1 year later, I got a message and it was like, hey, hey, it's me, so and so. If you have some time to chat, I'd love to know how I can be an asset to you. I was like, me? What do you want from me? So I was like, hey, did you mean to write that? You know, I was taken away. And he was like, yeah. So we got on a phone call. He knew I knew about creative finance and he didn't know anything about it. And he wanted to, you know, pick my brain. And I was just like, all right, bingo, this brain is no longer
Mhm.
free. Like y'all are paying for my time. And I tell people now, you're paying for my time.
Yep.
Like my brain's not free. I'll peep game to some people, give you so much, right? But go invest in yourself because when people start paying for stuff, they appreciate it. They're going to go do the work. You know, that's why think of this, right? YouTube is full of information. Why the fuck are you still
Free
broke?
YouTube University.
YouTube University. There's
Yep.
a
That's
million
how.
different ways to make money.
That's how I
Why
got
are you
started.
still complaining that you're broke? Can
Yep.
you tell me? Because people aren't paying for that shit,
Yep.
right? They're not paying for it. It's like it's not important. They didn't work for it. So it's just sitting there. You know,
Yep.
so much free content. And when somebody pays for something and they feel like they put some skin in the game, right? They're like, man, I spent that couple $100. I better go take that course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually putting a price tag that's gonna, I hate to say it, but it's gonna hurt their pockets a little bit.
Sure.
I've
Sure.
talked to people, I think it was Rod, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, you're charging what for that? Like, you're charging what? Like you're literally giving it away for free. Like up your price. And he was like, no, I know what I'm doing. I gave him shit for it. And I was like, you know,
I
bro,
think
like,
I was part of that. Me and him just did an innovation course. I think we
yeah, I
charged
told him he was
99.
crazy.
Yeah, we gave
Yeah, I told him he
99
was nuts.
bucks.
I was like, bro,
Literally
if you don't
millions of
up
dollars
that
worth
like
of knowledge.
10x right now, I
Yep.
swear. Because I realized that when I first got on, I tried to bring a couple people on board with me. I said, hey, like, let's go do this. And they were like, no, I'm going to go get my license or go, you know, I'm not interested in doing that. And I was like, all right, fine, no big deal. I didn't take it personal. And now they're like, hey, when are you going to put me on? And I'm like, that ship
Mm-hmm.
has sailed, baby. Like, I'm not looking back. Like, you got to go pay for the course.
I
And
love
I
it.
just realized that, you know, I thought it was like a cliche where people would say that people didn't appreciate, but they really don't. If they don't pay for it, it's just kind of sitting there. There's no value put to it, right?
Yep.
When you pay for it, it's like when women go get their hair and nails done, they're like, I paid $700 for this. Like, come on.
Mentally, it has
And
some
when your
value.
homegirl's
Yeah.
hooking you up for free at the hair salon, it's like
Take
nothing.
it for granted.
Yeah, you take
Yep.
it for granted.
Yep.
So, I mean, it was just you
I
got
love
to
it
find
though.
people. You got to find people that are in your corner.
Sure.
It doesn't matter how crazy your idea is or how big your goals are. You have to surround yourself with people that are like, go fucking kill it, right? Like,
Yeah.
go fucking kill it. Go do it. I'm right here rooting for you. And like genuine, because there's a lot of people like talking about hyping people up, and it's not sincere. It's not. I've caught this a lot lately, and just it's kind of like, am I getting the wrong vibes from people? Is it just me? Maybe I need to clear my energy. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, you know, you got to be careful who's in your corner because that energy rubs off. I'm a big person of like, I'm gonna believe in
Keep
you.
it real.
And the
You gotta be authentic.
crazier and bigger that your vision is, I'm like, hey, let's go, right?
Listen, you got to be, there's abundance. You got to have that abundance mindset because if you give out like that, you truly appreciate somebody's success. Yours is coming. You know,
Yeah.
it's opposite of what you learn. And that's something I'll be honest, I fully wasn't in. I had to let go because you're raised or society, you know, money's bad or scarcity with everything. And what does that do? That thins your own pockets because you only
Right.
think there's so much out there and then your
Right.
thoughts are so minor, you know?
Right.
So I think the biggest change, whether it comes in the form of money, but just having that letting go and having that abundance. People ask me all the time, why are you giving out so much knowledge? Why are you keeping it so transparent? Why are you doing things for free?
But
There,
this is the
there, there
thing. Well, this is
there's
the
a thing
thing, right?
behind it.
your content that you're giving away for free right now, it's different because you have to create that brand around it.
Sure.
Eventually you'll be able to monetize off of it. Like all these people that do all this content, like they monetize off of it. That's just what it is at the end of the day. They build it up, they start making money off of it. It's not like you make money off of it day one. For me, it's realizing that I have changed and grown so much as an individual, and the amount of knowledge and information that I have. And not only that, but like sincere, I really care about people, like I really care about people. I care about, helping people get rid of those limiting beliefs because I had them and I know what it feels like, right? It's not fun.
No.
Even today, we were talking about the anxiety. I was like, I hate talking, and
That's
I'm the
so
one
funny.
that talks my ass off, but I really don't.
That's so
I'm an
funny.
introvert,
Yep.
right? And just helping people get out of that, because once you break that and you realize how powerful your thoughts are and how powerful you can be, the money's just the plus. The money just flows in at that point, right?
Yep.
I mean, it really is a plus. I mean,
Yep.
I can't even, my partner now that I'm working with, he pushes all my paper and stuff like that, and he takes care of the back end stuff, and I'm kind of like the visionary. I take care of the front end stuff, and I'm like, you're like the yin to my yang, and he's always giving me credit, and I'm like, dude, I fucking like adore you, like I love you, like don't undervalue what you bring to the table. I couldn't move this operation without you.
Yeah.
And it's reminding people, because at the end of the day, we all deal with shit, right? In our heads, we all deal with stuff. This is stuff that we don't even talk about on a daily basis. Everybody's dealing with something that they're going through, and we just don't have those conversations on the regular. And I was like, always reminding him, hey, I appreciate the hell out of you, like for real, I appreciate you. And reminding people that, it doesn't matter if it's your VA, it doesn't matter if it's, your house cleaner, like
Just
remind
good
them that you
vibes.
appreciate them,
Yeah, you're bringing good energy, good vibes. Everybody loves
Yeah,
it.
you have to.
You
I
have
mean,
to.
I think about it. I remember having certain jobs, and I remember just people kind of looking down on you, and it's like, I'm no better than you. Like there can be something in you that'll just switch, and people got to learn who you are now. You're a different version of yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people that remember me as, I don't know, whoever I was 5 years ago. Like I'm a
Sure.
totally different person. There's a lot of stuff that has sparked inside of me, and I'm like, I want to be able to have enough passive income so I can just give back. Like I just want to like travel and give back to other communities. Even inside the United States, we have families here, and like that's really what I want to do.
Not sure. Yeah.
Everybody talks about I talk about the introvert, but at the end of the day, like I'm a talker. And I said, I have so much stuff that I've been through that nobody has any idea, and I feel like I need to talk about it. Like I think part of the fear of speaking is I dealt with like domestic violence before. So if your voice kind of gets, you don't have a voice when you're dealing with that, right? And so for me, it's like talking to people, telling people that they do have a voice, or you are worthy, you are enough, you deserve more. And so once that switch flipped, it was like it's game over for me. But for other people, I talk to people on a regular basis, and there's so much limiting belief in people, and that's what's hindering people. It's what's stopping them in their tracks, because it's not about who's smarter than someone else. It's not that. Yeah, connections are great, your network's great, but you can have all the connections and you can be plugged in, and your family could be wealthy and know a bunch of people, but if you in your mind do not believe that you are worthy of that, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Yep.
Like
No.
it's not gonna happen. So for me, it was just like I read a lot. So I read You're a Badass at Making Money, and
I've
I
never read
read
that
that.
one.
That's a really good book. It's
Is it
good for
good?
women and men. And that was a complete shift changer. Just manifestations.
Yep.
Growing up like in the church, we didn't really talk about that kind of stuff. But it's
I'm big
real.
on the law of attraction right now.
Yeah, it's so real. I'm horrible at journaling. I'm trying to do better with that. I'm really bad. I'm really, really bad with that. But every single day I tell myself, like, you're amazing. You want to create wealth for your family. You want to create a life of abundance. And like I said, wealth to me isn't money. to me, it's my time. It's the
Sure.
freedom of my time. That's where I was like, well, where's my highest and best use place? It's not sitting here having, you know, just regular conversations with people or going and analyzing deals. I need to be networking. You know, I need a network.
Yep.
So that for me is my goal this year. Networking. Probably going to take another course. I'll share that later down the road. For
Dope.
the tap into commercial.
100%. Listen,
Yeah.
let's wrap. I love it because I think we covered everything, and I never had a deep talk with you like this, but I see where everything kind of came together
Yeah.
to where you're at now. So
Yeah. It's been, let me tell you,
super dope.
it's been a journey. Okay. It's not, you know, like I said, social media will hype certain things
It's a
up or you see
marathon.
highlights of stuff. But let me tell you, this shit did not come overnight. The abundance mindset did not come overnight. The, you know, fearlessness didn't come overnight. I mean, that all happens with time, working on yourself every single day. And before you know it, you just,
It starts inside first. That's the biggest
yeah, it's a
takeaway.
game
It's
changer.
inside.
It's a game changer. And affirmations are important, you know, and I'll probably close with that, but you know, who you surround yourself with. I have people all the time that are like hyping me up. They're like, "You're amazing," and I'm like, "You are too. You wouldn't be in my corner. Like, you're amazing too, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're great. You're awesome." And it's just having that same energy, man. You gotta keep it afloat. You know, you gotta
100%.
keep it afloat, no matter what you're going through. Just smile
Keep
through all the
going.
BS. You gotta smile through
Keep
all the
going.
BS. That's all. I mean,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Love
I mean,
it.
that's it. There's
Love it. We'll
not
wrap
more
up
to
with
it.
that. That was dope. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on. I think people got a lot of gems. You
Oh
shared
my
it
gosh,
all.
I have so much more to say, but I could keep rambling all day long.
From the introvert too.
Yeah.
You know?
From the introvert. Yeah,
Yeah,
from the introvert.
100%. Well, listen, guys, tap into my YouTube channel, Lenny Poliziani the third. And Crystal, where can people get in touch with you?
Crystal _ closer
There it is.
on Instagram.
Perfect.
And my email, I don't know if you want me to give that out. Just
It's
look
up
for
to
me
you.
on Instagram. It's the best way.
Start with Instagram. Yep.
Yeah,
Crystal the
that's good.
closer. So listen, we'll wrap it up. Perfect. Well, listen, I appreciate it. And we'll chat soon. All right.
All right, sounds good. We'll keep
All
in
right.
touch.
See you later.
All right, bye.